Hooah! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That is the last time in my lifetime I will hear someone say, for the purposes the chair recognizes the honorable, and I appreciate that. Thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, as many of my colleagues have already mentioned, this speech starts writing itself the day you walk into freshman orientation. However, for me, it appears to have started in 1994. Why do I say that? Well, earlier this month, I was rearranging old boxes, my small two-bedroom condo in Kalamazoo, and I came across this photo of an 11-year-old boy on the steps of the Capitol in what appears to be a Capitol tour, wearing a hypercolor t-shirt, Coke bottle glasses, and Reebok pumps. So I guess I would say this is how it started, and this is where we are today. Sure, a little older and a lot less hair, but I'm proud to say that after 6 years of this place, I'll be leaving with my boyish, young, handsome look still intact. Thank you very much. It's been the pleasure of a lifetime to serve in public office over the past decade, 6 of which having been blessed to be within this prestigious chamber. I still vividly recall my first day of orientation when Clerk Randall, who is so old, I was assuming was the guy who gave us the tour in this photo. And you know, I still have no idea who this guy is, Clerk Randall. You probably know. I Googled mustaches from the 80s legislators. You don't Google that, but you do get a lot of great hits. Clerk Randall talked about this institution and how if there was ever a day when, as a legislator, you walked into this building, onto the floor, and took a seat at your desk, that you weren't in awe of this awesome opportunity, then it's probably the day that you should consider a career change. Being in a district like mine, I always operated as though I would be a one-term legislator. Then I was blessed to return a second time, and even stacked against all odds, returned again. And each and every time I returned, I never forgot that speech. And I've always tried to never take for granted the amazing opportunity to serve in this institution. There are certainly many things that make this institution great, and I could spend the rest of my speech listing them. But for me, the memories of this hallowed chamber will always be with the people. From all of you, to my amazing staff, to the lobby corps, to the wonderful people who make this place function on a daily basis. I'll never forget the question I got asked most often on my freshman term. What's the most surprising thing about this job? And I was always quick to respond, the staff who make this place function. With term limits and the endless turnover of members, these folks make this place great. Doug Simon, Matt White, Clerk Randall and his team, Chief Sergeant Dixon and his team, all the fellas on the 9th floor facilities management office over in the Hob, and the list goes on. I thank you. Speaking of people and memories, it has truly been my honor to serve side by side with my staff all these years. Over the course of the past 6 years, I've had 4, that's right, Rep. Hall, 4 staff members who have kept my office from falling apart. I can pick on Rep. Hall because he's recently employed one of the finest people in Lansing, Vera Riley, or as she was always known in my office, Miss Vera. Vera, thank you. For the past 6 years, you've been like a loyal big sister, either as my first line of defense on the phones, at the coffee hours, or on the doors. You've been there for me. Always in the shadows, always supportive, always loyal. Thank you. Samantha Zandy, I've said it on this floor before and I'll say it again, you're the best. At my side for 4 years and through 2 elections, negotiating with constituents, negotiating policy, negotiating Lansing life, you were always there. Thank you. Frank Waters, you had big shoes to fill when these ladies left, and you started at the worst of times in the middle of a pandemic, but through it all, you prevailed. Thank you for your support and friendship. And of course, to Rika Holly, who started with me and helped me take on this task in the beginning. Thank you for always believing in me. A big thank you to the Speaker's staff over these past 2 years. But, and I have to call her out, especially to Lindsey Young. I have to be honest, I wasn't sure how it was going to go when the Speaker called me and told me he had appointed you to the Ways and Means Committee. Frankly, you're a lot tougher than I am, and I was admittedly a little scared of you. But allow me to put it on the record that you are one of the most honest and forthright people I know. You're a talented legal mind and have an amazing future in front of you. To the two Johns and Coms and Mike Quillinan, otherwise known as Photo Mike. Yes, he actually has a last name. The three of you have always made me sound respectable and look great, although it did take Mike a couple of years of me getting on his case to get my bald spot out of all the photos. You do a great job with Photoshop. Thank you, Mike. Finally, to my colleagues. Many might say that my greatest legislative achievement during my time was somehow getting my original crew, Clint Kesto, Eric Nesbitt, and Frank Foster, all married off in only 6 short years. Hall, I tried. I can't work miracles. I didn't have the Hall jokes written in, but they just fit in the speech. Fellas, it was a great run, and I wish you all the best. To my fellow Kalamazoo County delegation, we accomplished so much together for our community. You're a fantastic team. To Rep. Hoadley, who I actually felt like I was campaigning against all these years, I have one word: undefeated. I knew you guys would like that one. My seatmates, Rep. McCready, for 4 years, who I've always referred to as my roomie. I'm not sure that I can necessarily say that you were the best mentor, but you tried. I'll always remember my first day on the floor. I'd never met Mike before in my life. He walks up to me, sticks out his hand, and says, "Hi, I'm Mike. No one thought you were going to win, so they sat you next to me." Mike, you've been there for me and will always be a great friend. Representative Lilly, my seatmate these past 2 years and my office mate up in the skyboxes. We've traveled the world, celebrated our victories, and commiserated over bourbon on our losses. You're a brother and will always be. Thank you. To my fellow third-termers, thank you for your friendship, guidance, and wisdom all these years. Rep. Lloydheiser, I've appreciated our conversations over cocktails and your mentorship. Rep. Vopel, also known as the Doc. When one Googles the word gentleman, your picture pops up. My dear friend on the other side of the aisle, and now Senator Jeremy Moss, it's been a real pleasure working with you all these years to achieve meaningful policy reforms for our state. You're the definition of a statesman. Did I have another page? Oh, the speaker. That's right. Ah, yes, of course. Speaker Chatfield, your friendship has been unwavering. Although the paths we've traveled to this house took us in very different directions, we ended up here together for a reason. In a short time, we fought on the front lines together, forging through treacherous political landscapes and standing resolute in the face of tumultuous political storms. And through all of this, your steadfast friendship and loyalty. You provided me with so many of the opportunities I've had here in my 6 years, and I can say without a doubt that it has been the honor of a lifetime to have served at the pleasure of the Speaker. I thank you, but more importantly, I thank your wonderful wife, Stephanie, and your beautiful family for sharing you with us all these years. For those of you that know me, you know I'm a big fan of Sinatra and the Rat Pack, an era of days gone by. So I leave you with a quote from the late, great Dean Martin. Only fitting that I go with Dean Martin while Shepard goes with a Bible verse. Which, in my opinion, this quote sums up one's very short time in Lansing. The whole world is drunk, and we're just the cocktail of the moment. Someday soon the world will wake up, down 2 aspirin with a glass of tomato juice, and wonder what the hell the fuss was all about. Representative Iden signing off from WHOB Studios. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.